Yeah, I can barely stand the shape I'm in. This burning in my chest, frustration setting in. She's my disease within. Oh, oh, oh. Go on and strike that man. Depression setting in. Just let the fire in. She's in. Baby, I'm no good for you. But she don't know I'm fireproof. I'm a mess, so I tell myself to forget about you, but I can't let go. You're the high that keeps me low. I can feel your drug take hold. Sticking underneath my skin. You're my disease within. Frustration setting in. I can't stand the shape I'm in. Yeah, she's all I ever wanted, and it's so easier to sleep at night. And the words she said keep ringing in my head. On and on and on and on it goes. Baby, I'm no good for you. Yeah, I'll only end up hurting you. She said maybe I'm no good for you. But don't you know I'm fireproof? So tell me now, 'cause I just can't pretend. You and I, we know exactly how this story ends. Up in flames, right before my eyes. In the end, you're only gonna burn me alive. Whoa, baby, I'm no good for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first of its kind here in the simulation football, the SFL CCRT. For those of you that aren't familiar with acronyms, it's the SFL Content Creator Round Table, the first of its kind, hopefully first of many to come. We are very excited and happy to have so many of you joining us here. Chad, Nathan, Kendra, Dan, Justin, Gunny, even Cameron Irvine, the commissioner, is here. But you probably didn't come to see me. I'm Tyler Falk. I'm the host of NETMA, but it's not about NETMA tonight. It's about the SFL. It's about everyone who makes the SFL great in terms of making content. If they've been making content for 4 years or just within the past 6 months, they're here. They have put their predictions in. They have made the trip to the NETMA server, and they're all here, and they want to tell you who is going to be the Season 18 champion and so much more. And so, we've got a lot of introductions tonight. We've got 12 different content creators and special guests along with me this evening. So let's start off with the member of the community that has been doing this for 4 years and is coming up on her 200th show for the SFL. She is the general manager and starting quarterback for the Arizona Scorpions. She is none other than AJ Striker, Ashley Jackson. Ashley, welcome to the Content Creator Roundtable.
Thank you for having me. This is a wonderful idea that you had. I know we talked about this a long time ago.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. We talked about it, so you said you wanted to do it, and I was so glad that you were able to make it happen. This is going to be a really interesting show. And I'm truly excited to know how this is all going to work out. Because some people are going to be mad, so I'll tell you. Yeah.
Make sure you go ahead and double check your audio settings there, Ashley. You might not be muted in OBS Ninja. Just go ahead and double check that for me. But thanks for joining us, Ashley. I almost forgot, Ashley. You're the reigning SFL community ambassador as well. One of the most helpful gals out here in the league, and this league would be somewhere else without you. We'll just put it that way. Thank you, Ashley. All right, coming up next in slot number 2, he is the owner of the Houston Hyenas, DR Sim, wide receiver and owner, Damon Simeon. How you doing, Damon?
Hey, I'm doing great, Tyler. Thanks for having me. What it do? H-Town.
Fantastic. Great to have you, Damon. Anything you're looking forward to tonight as we start off for the evening?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. What was that, Tyler?
Let me see what I can do here. Let's see. What are you excited for most to hear the roundtable show?
Just to hear everyone's predictions. Eddie crazy prediction that he has for Arizona. That one is very ridiculous.
Absolutely. All right. Speaking of Mr. Arizona Everything, he's who we're introducing next. He hosts Say It With Your Chest. He is the owner and starting strong safety Hall of Famer, Eddie Gage. Eddie, welcome to the program.
What up, though? How you doing tonight, Tyler?
Absolutely. Great to have you here, Eddie. What brought you here to the show?
Well, you asked. You asked, and you shall receive.
There we go. Welcome, Eddie. All right, moving next door to Mr. Arizona Everything. Just created the Premier Stats Group. Originally, it was only Jack's data. He is in charge of everything. It is Mr. Hunter Norwood. Hunter, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. How you doing?
Doing fantastic. Anything exciting you can tell us right now about Premier Stats?
Premier Stats is still pretty new. It's more of just helping us expand, but we got some stuff in the pipeline.
Absolutely.
Once the season starts up.
We look forward to that, Hunter. All right, moving on down next door. We couldn't get Axel Raven on tonight. He's gone through a couple of different procedures. He'd be having his eyes wide if I understand those procedures right. So we have his sidekick from SFLM Fights and Insights, the newest show and the only show that specifically curtails to the minor league. Daniel Wright joins us. Daniel, thanks for joining us this evening.
No problem at all. And hey, everyone, how you doing? Super excited to be here and ready to be part of this show. See what's going to happen.
Thanks, Daniel. All right, moving on down next door. He is the wisest man in the SFL. You know him from places where Access Live used to be. He is Mr. Gunny McGuire.
Good evening, Tyler. Good evening, SFL Nation. It's going to be a glorious season 18.
Fantastic, Gunny. Always great to have you on board. Good to see you, my friend. All right, moving next door to Gunny. He is the general manager of the London Knights. He put together a fantastic show when they brought over Johnny Pickler. He is Chad Rowland.
Tyler, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing fantastic, Chad. How are you boys over across the pond?
You know what? Across the pond is pretty nice. We're just grinding, getting ready for the champs this upcoming week 1, and glad to be here with all these guys who do some great content here for our league. So I'm just glad to be able to jump in here and have some fun with you. Fantastic,
Chad. We'll talk again soon. Moving next door, it's a double wide box for 2 out of the 3 members of Simpod. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Douglas Brown and Potty Potty. And while they're going to introduce themselves, I might just go crack open a cold one. I'll be right back.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Happy Saturday. Tyler, thanks for having us on the show.
Yeah, thanks, Tyler. Really appreciate this opportunity. Looking forward to hearing everybody's perspective out here.
You guys are supposed to keep talking for that. You didn't even have a chance to go ahead and open up my beer. What you guys doing, huh?
Cheers.
There we go. All right. Moving on down. Next member on our list is statistician extraordinaire, general manager / owner of the Fort Worth Toros, Stephen Hacker.
Hey, Tyler. Thanks for the invite. Glad to be here. I think, like everybody else, just excited to see all the predictions and how everybody thinks the season's going to play out.
Absolutely. Great to have you, Hacker. Joining us via telephone at the last possible second. It's his return to the airwaves, and we couldn't be happier to see him. Ladies and gentlemen, General Manager of the Portland Fleet, Nelson Lozano. Nelson, welcome back.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Definitely under the weather right now, but I had to try to do what I could to come out here and support this. I think this is, amazing to get different viewpoints and everything else of owners and people all alike throughout this league. So it's very exciting.
Fantastic. Great to have you back, Nelson. Welcome back. All right. Some members of the community that also put in predictions that help, make things possible that couldn't be here tonight. Axel Raven, Coach Brian Craven, Charlie Boletsky, who also helped out. Dave Axis was unable to be here. Unfortunately, Dave and Lisa have both come down under the weather with COVID. Please send them your best. I know Nelson and Ashley both are also dealing with some illness as well. Please send them all your support. A couple other people that were able to jump in and help us out. Josh Zirkle made an appearance and was able to put in a couple predictions. Slyn Shady, Jacob Clear, among others. Mighty, Max Paul, owner of the Florida Storm, had his say in these predictions as well. And that's just about it as far as those predictions go. We've tallied the results from everybody that's put in their predictions. And so without further ado, we're going to get to those predictions, starting with who we think is going to take down the Atlantic Division. So what I had everybody do here, sitting here and not able to be here this evening, is they went through the entire season, all 144 matchups. They picked who they thought would win and how each division would shape out. Thankfully for all of you, we're going to summarize all that and not break down every single game because we would be here until maybe next year. Not just the end of the season, but probably until next year, because we could go on and debate every single matchup. We're not going to do that. So we're going to start just by breaking down the Atlantic Division. How it all shaped up amongst everybody else is it looks like a majority people think that Florida is taking home the division. Let's go ahead and start with one of the members that picked the Atlantic Division. Doug, let's start with you in the Atlantic Division. You had picked Florida Storm to win it. Talk us through how you made those predictions for the Atlantic Division.
Yeah, my prediction was the Storm were going to go 11-1, looking for another great season. Their offense is stacked with Cochran, Boletsky, Minson, Doyle. Can't forget Paulie Truth, who I played with in Albuquerque. These guys are special, and they're headed for a great season.
Okay, let's go on to a differing point of view because there was only two clubs that I saw recently amongst these predictions that had a shot at making, the Atlantic Division outright as far as the division champions. Eddie, let's go to you because you did not pick Florida to win this division. You have a different club going. Tell us why and who they are.
I picked the Charleston Predators, who finished second in the division last season, to win the division this season, and that solely being based on the fact that Mighty has stepped down from coaching, or at least he tells us he stepped down from coaching. But they have a new regime over there. Art Vanderlei coming over from Portland. He was their defensive coordinator, and he's now the head coach / offensive coordinator, I believe. So we'll see how that shapes out. There's always some growing pains anytime you decide to take on those roles. And I believe because of that Charleston will win the division this season.
Okay, let's go over to Hunter Norwood now and his take on the Atlantic Division.
Yeah, so I had Florida winning as well. And then I actually had Jacksonville taken second, but only at 6-6. So and also missing playoffs there at 6-6, but I think it's really just Florida's division to win, and then the rest will just kind of either beat themselves up and just kind of muddle through. I only had them, for Mighty to step down as coach. I think it was probably the best time for him to do it because their schedule isn't terribly hard, especially with going to this divisional sort of setup instead of doing more, I guess, like specific storylines or giving good teams hard schedules. Uh, they I think they're able to get away with a little bit more this season. That's why I had them 10-2.
Okay. All right. Anybody else want to talk shop on the Atlantic Division? Let's see. A couple other people that I have here. We have, as far as everybody else taking the Charleston route, as far as I was concerned, Slyn Shady, Ray Bentley, and Jacob Clear are also in that camp where they think Charleston is going to take it over Florida. Let's go to Daniel. I know you had Florida here for the Atlantic Division, but tell us a little bit more about Charleston. A couple of these guys really are high up on Charleston. Was that the same going through your predictions?
Yeah, so I actually had Charleston second in the division and only by a game. So I think it's going to be very close. I know, as they were alluded to in Florida, the head coach is stepped down, so they might have a few stumbles here and there. But Florida still has that same solid defensive core. I think they actually got better in free agency, personally. Yeah. But Charleston got their weapons. They figured it out last season. And now I'm hoping, and I think they're hoping, and I think they will. I think they'll start pulling it together again. Just slow but surely.
The one thing that concerns me is Buchanan Simon. He had a down year as far as his standards are concerned last season. Chad, does that concern you as well?
No, I mean, I think that, I have Charleston also going to the playoffs, but I actually have 3 teams from the Atlantic going in the playoffs this season. I might be one of the only one that does, but I have Carolina actually sneaking in this season. I've said it probably 3 years in a row on any prediction show that I get Carolina in. So one of these days they're going to prove me right. But I think this is the season that they actually put everything together with the coaching that they have and the players that they were able to pick up. Clint Hendershot was a very underrated signing for them at linebacker. So I think that, being able to form that linebacking core along with Shervon, this defense is a lot better than what they were last season. And I think they're going to be able to sneak in.
All right. As far as the total numbers are concerned, as far as how many people picked a certain team to go in what division, the overall content creator standings looks like this. Florida at the 1 spot in the division, Carolina the 2 spot in the division, even though Charleston has the only other team to have more first place finishes. 3rd place does go to Charleston, 4th place goes to Jacksonville. All right, moving on to the North Division. This one, it looks to be, about the same type of story we were dealing with the Atlantic Division. Baltimore, in this case, does lead the charge with the most votes. Let's go to, let's see, who have we talked to just yet? Damon, let's go to you in Baltimore. They're a very tough cookie. The defending champions look to be the favorites in a lot of the content creator eyes.
Yeah, that is absolutely correct, Tyler. Baltimore is probably the best team in this division. I'm not going to say probably. They are the best team in this division because they did win the SFL Championship. Excuse me. Sorry about that.
Oh, good.
I have Baltimore going 9-3. I had them going 10-2, but then there was a matchup that I saw that probably could fall another team's way, and they could still win from Baltimore. But I do have them going 9-3, finishing number 1 in the division, and getting themselves into the playoffs with a bye.
Absolutely. Gunny, let's go to you, the wisest man in the SFL. You also had the defending champions going number 1. Is there maybe another team that you saw that maybe could have a shot as far as coming close to knocking on the door for Baltimore? We might have a couple technical difficulties tonight. That goes par for the course. We have so many people jumping on. Let's go to Hacker. Hacker, you also had, or maybe I didn't have you on here for some reason. Hacker, who'd you pick to win the North Division?
I had Baltimore there at 9-3, winning out that division. Interestingly enough, I had Queen City going second in that division. I had London struggle a little bit, finishing just below 500, and then DC kind of stays at that 3-9 spot where they found themselves. I think that they're just maybe one more season away from really having a lot of pieces in there and can turn that thing around and push for a real playoff contention. But I think it's just like in the Atlantic with Florida being the one, it's their division to lose. I think the same thing goes in the North with Baltimore, and you returned a lot of their players. I know they signed Devin King at linebacker, a quiet addition to their defense, but should make a good should be a good presence in the linebacking core for them. So they're a tough team, and I think it's their division to lose.
Hunter, you have one of the unpopular opinions in the North Division. You're the only team to not pick Baltimore or Queen City winning the division.
Yeah, and it's definitely not DC. And I got London at 10-2. I also have Baltimore 9-3. So I matched up well with everyone else. And Queen City's at 8-4. I think the North is just going to be kind of it's not really going to be a bloodbath because everyone's going to do well. I think the North is going to kind of romp against the other two divisions they are put up against, and then when it comes to North versus North, that's going to be the kind of high ticket games.
If I'm, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Hunter.
Nope, go ahead.
I was just gonna say the two divisions that the North Division is taking on is the South Division, and I also believe it is the West Division. So South and West. So the Arizona Scorpions will be in town at least once in for London. They also got Mexico City coming, or they have to go to Mexico City. So that's a tough road game for the Knights. And let's talk to the general manager who is being all pretty happy with the pick. Only one person picked his ball club, Chad. How much faith do you have in Hunter Norwood now? Because he's back in your club.
I mean, he's the stats guru king, right? I mean, the Jax Data and the Premier Premier Stats Group now. I mean, he's a smart man. I'm not gonna knock him for it. So great pick. But you know what? I mean, this division's gonna be tough, right? I mean, Baltimore is Baltimore. We know who they can be. Queen City, let's see what the changes they've made. Let's see how they work out. And DC is always one of them teams that's sneaky. I mean, 7 of their 9 losses last year were by at the most 7 points. So they could have easily been in the playoffs if they would have flipped a few of those games in the winning column. But kind of like he said, I think it's going to be a little bit of a bloodbath, but it'll be a hell of a season regardless.
Absolutely. As far as overall as a whole amongst all content creators, Baltimore is going number 1 according to just overall. Then Queen City at 2, London 3, DC at 4. Moving on to the East Division. That's Atlanta, Louisiana, St. Louis, and Tulsa. This one was the closest division title battle amongst all predictions for a long time until a few hours ago when we got a lot more predictions in. This battle was tooth and nail. Close is probably an understatement. Atlanta and Louisiana both getting very high marks from a lot of the content creators. Ashley, let's start with you and who you went with for the East.
All right. So for the East, I had the Atlanta Swarm going number 1, going 8-4. Louisiana Revolution going 6-6, going number 2. And this is kind of crazy, but I have the St. Louis Gladiators and Tulsa Desperados going 3-9. So St. Louis is number 3 and Tulsa is number 4. Like I said, I figured I was gonna make somebody mad. That's what the only reason I did this based on who they were playing and the probability of them winning. Kind of looking at the performances from last season, I did take that into account. I mean, but hey, these are all just guesses. I see you, Paul T. Couture. Okay. Go ahead, listen. I told you, it's okay.
As I take a casual sip from my drink, I'll shoot it down to the number 1 overall pick in this most recent draft and on where he thinks Tulsa is finishing up.
Yeah, Ashley, really appreciate your perspective. I had such a warm welcoming to Tulsa. We had some key pickups on defense, and obviously on offense. We got King Rashid, we got Travis Arthur. We picked up Jim Copeland as a tight end, amongst a couple of others. And reviewing the schedule, I think we'll have a couple of tight games. I have Tulsa winning the division, going 9-3 in the East. So they'll be tied with the Atlanta Swarm also going 9-3, and then we have the Revolution going 7-5, and the Gladiators going 5-7. So that rounds out my East Division with Tulsa going number 1.
If my research is correct, Doug, that means you're standing alone on that hill as far as us content creators go. You're just going to go ahead and live and die on that hill. But as far as another member of the content creators that might live on die as the only sole member that is picking a team to win, Ray Bentley has the Gladiators winning the division. He stands alone on that hill. Meanwhile, back to Atlanta, Louisiana. Again, tight battle between both clubs. Let's go to, let's see, Eddie Gage. You you're more of a homer than I am in this regard, because I didn't even pick Louisiana to come out on top in my own division. So tell us a little bit why you back Louisiana over Atlanta after this most recent offseason, and what has to be a very significant draft, especially for Louisiana picking up Randy Squarebush.
Well, first of all, let's remind the public that I made these predictions prior to rosters being filled out. And at that time, like I said, I had Louisiana going 8-4, finishing just one game ahead of Atlanta going 7-5. But then, as the draft played out, Louisiana really did not strengthen their wide receiving core, and they also lost a receiver in free agency. So while their running game is stacked with 2-star running backs, I'm just not sure how that's going to translate when they need to put the ball in the air, how they get defended versus various teams. So if I could take it all back, I might flip that, one game or another, and have Atlanta finishing first in the division. But I'll stand by my pick. Louisiana, their defense is tough, and that cover 3 defense that Gerald employs is rough. So we'll see how it plays out.
Absolutely. And I did a little bit of discourteous to Potty down there, is he also picked Tulsa as well. So two members of the Sim Pod both are picking Tulsa to go out and finish that. And Potty, let's go to you real quick with your take here on the East. Again, you and Doug sitting pretty with the Tulsa pick, but what captures your attention when you take a look at this dynamic East Division?
Yeah, Doug Brown, though, is the one that's going to chariot in the future of the SFL. That's why I've got them going 12-0, and I think that they're definitely going to win the East. And, on the North account, I had DC Dragons going 12-0 as well. So I think it's going to be a battle of the greats going into the championship.
All right. And let's hear from Nelson real quick before we move on to the South Division. Nelson, as far as the Atlantic, North, and East divisions are concerned, my friend, which team of the 3 division winners that you've got might make the deepest run in the playoffs?
Well, I had Atlanta winning it all. I think with the them keeping most of their roster together, they've already won a champion before, not too long ago. I just think that, again, they have a really good opportunity to go there and really excel and win it all. Throughout that, I had like Baltimore in the North as well, coming through with a very strong. I mean, them dudes almost went undefeated, right? So I think, again, keeping that in account, and they've done back to back. It's always very dangerous. I think Queen City did a lot to potentially get themselves in there as well, adding the 3 linemen. Adding different key pieces to their defense as well. Again, Nathaniel Diggs. It's just, again, I think they've done things to really help out. And then again, Florida. We were talking about the Florida thing earlier, and I think, again, yes, Art being new, but Art isn't new to coaching. And I think with Ben, he really has a good 1-2 punch there. That, again, if Mighty's not involved, I don't think they really skip too much of a beat. Plus, I think Daniel said it best with Florida. They picked up somebody really strong in free agency. So it just, again, I feel like with the pieces that they already had, plus adding more, it could account for that, again, coaching discrepancy that some people have.
All right. As far as the East Division is concerned, the content creator's synopsis goes Atlanta 1, Louisiana 2, St. Louis 3, and Tulsa at the 4th spot here in the East Division. All right, let's move on to the South, the Tex-Mex division as it's affectionately known. 3 Texas teams, 1 Mexico team, all wrapped up into one. And this one, except for one straggler pick by Ray Bentley picking the Lone Star Glory to win it all, everyone else, it's been almost a consensus. Mexico City is winning this division. Gunny, let's go to you. Your division. You guys, you have your own club, the Lone Star Glory, going number 2 in your picks. But as far as you're concerned, as far as everybody is concerned, it's Mexico's division to lose.
I think we're all chasing Mexico City. I don't know. I appreciate Ray. I think he might have been smoking that day, or he was busy with his kid to nominate us 9-3. But I sure do love Ray Bentley's enthusiasm for the 9-3 glorious Lone Star.
Absolutely. Thank you, Gunny. All right. We haven't heard from Potty in a while. Potty, tell us a little bit more about the South. It looks to be like the Aztecs have firmly wrapped up that division, but as far as a couple other teams in that division, who else can make a run for the playoffs this season?
I think the Fort Worth Toros are going 10-2, and the Houston Hyenas are going 8-4.
Okay.
They've both got strong teams behind them, and I think they're going to bring in the new year.
All right. We'll see if that prediction comes to light. All right. Who else wants to jump in and give us their take here on the South? I know a lot of everyone has pretty much said that Mexico City is pretty much going to be it. Damon, go ahead, take it away.
Awesome. Thanks, Tyler, for handing that off to me. I have Mexico City winning this division as well at 10-2. And as I stated earlier, that I had Baltimore going 10-2, but I flipped it when they played versus Mexico City and gave Mexico City that win. This is a strong team in the South, and I think that everyone in the South, as Gunny stated, is basically chasing after Mexico City. I have Fort Worth and Houston both finishing at 7-5. It's some tough schedules, that we're matched up against, and I have Lone Star finishing at 5-7, losing the division. Sorry, Gunny, but that's just the way how I feel.
Thank you, Damon. Let's shoot it over to Hunter Norwood on his take. Any Elo predictions for us for this for the South Division? It looks like it's not who will win the division, but by how many wins will Mexico City win the division?
Right. Honestly, I stayed away from the Elo stuff for most of this. I just kind of went on what I felt like. I thought about doing the Elo stuff, but it was taking a little bit. Had to build it up a little bit more than to a point I would like it. But I did have Mexico City winning at 7-5, which I don't know. It's hard if you do this, if you have the whole season in front of you and you just say, okay, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, and then you come to the end of the season, you're like, oh, Mexico City 7-5. I didn't feel like that, but it's just where it ended up at. But the rest of the South Division, like I was saying with the North, the South Division is more of a bloodbath of who's gonna make it out, because I didn't really have anyone doing that great. And Mexico City did enough to win the division and also make a playoff appearance.
Absolutely. All right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Okay. Doug from SimPod, you've got a hot take for us on this South Division.
Yeah, my take with the South Division, very similar to the rest of the content creators here. The Aztecs are going to take the division at 10-2. I think Matt Wilson, Phoenix Jones, that's a great combo duo for quarterback, running back. And you don't want to sleep on Jeffrey Daggs either. I wouldn't want to be a receiver and be going across the middle with him. So
absolutely. Let's see. I think that just wraps it up again. South pretty well in favor for the number 1 spot in the South Division. Fort Worth at a close number 2, closely followed by Houston and Lone Star at 4. I think I was just looking over at Gunny's predictions earlier today. He had Mexico City, I believe, going 7-5, and the last 3, if it wouldn't be a bloodbath, it wouldn't be the Tex-Mex South Division, but he had all 3 Texas teams finishing 5-7. All right. Let's move on to the West Division, or a few seasons ago when it was created, the Division of Death for the Arizona Scorpions. And so we'll shoot it right over to Arizona. because Mr. Eddie Gage, his club, is predicted to be the favorite for that division. So Eddie Gage, I mean, you have your ball club going 12-0. So to talk us through that prediction.
X, I mean, 12-0, man. I tell the locker room all the time, why not us? Why not? So, got the team in season 14 and we struggled. Kind of build things along the bit. I think it's, we took a big loss, losing Bernard, losing a hand. Oh my God, that was big. But Ashley came through for us and saved our season potentially, bringing 2 receivers to retirement. And it's time, I heard Demond talking about me predicting us to go 12-0 is ridiculous. And I want to tell him it's ridiculous for me to think any other way. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm the head coach and I'm the owner of this team.
Hey, don't be putting
I'm
me out
predicting
there,
us to
man.
go 12-0.
Calling me out
And
there.
I don't understand why I would say anything less other than 12. I'm supposed to. So if I'm filling out this bracket and I'm putting us down, going down, say 11-1 or 7-5 or whatever the case may be, then whoever those teams are who I'm predicting us to lose against, why even bother running the sim? My players already see I'm predicting us to lose the game, so why bother? I'm not 12 in the first round bye and beating championship.
Eddie, you cut out there at the end there. I think it. Go ahead. Give us that one last little bit one more time, if you would, please.
I got us going 12-0, finishing first in the division, going unbeaten, getting the first round bye, baptizing whoever in front of us in the playoffs and winning the championship game. And any other mindset is ridiculous. As a competitor, as anybody who plays sports or anybody who's coached, you should have if you don't have that same mentality, something is wrong. You fill out that bracket, you should be undefeated every week. My mentality every week is to go 1-0. And if a coach or owner, whoever else, don't feel that way, then why even bother competing? Why step out there? So I'm putting us out there. We going 12, and if we lose to Tulsa week 1, say we going 11-1 the rest of the season. That's it, and that's all.
Your general manager over here is just waiting for her chance to jump into this point. She's just it's the stereotypical Eddie Gage is going on a Arizona everything talk, and we couldn't be more happier to hear it. But Ashley, you're shaking your head over there. Talk us through a little bit of Arizona's struggles in this offseason and where you think the Scorpions will finish up.
Yeah, we did have the struggles in the off season where people ghosted us at the last second and things like that. But as I've told my front office, I've told the team, we will always get what we need. We always do. Just leave it up to me to be able to try to find it. We'll get it. That said, Eddie's talking about us going 12-0. I would love to be able to say that and truthfully mean it. But as good as everybody is, everybody's improving. Every roster has picked somebody and to better their team. If anything, we're gonna go 10-2. That's what I chose. We're still gonna be number 1 in the division. We still got a fantastic we have a fantastic league, period. So I can't just sit here and just knock everybody else's ball club like they not working as hard as we are to try to get the things, to get those particular players to do what they need to do to win the game. The trajectory that we have been on has been an upward trajectory since we've came into the league. So of course we're going to keep going this way. I have us going to the championship and even winning over Baltimore. But for me to sit here and just say that we 12-0, I can't do that. And I admire Eddie for his thoughts and his opinions. That's cool. He's a coach. He's supposed to do that. I'm thinking, or on a realistic terms, myself, and knowing that everybody in our division is making those extra efforts, including Sioux Falls. I have them actually going 9-3 this season. The changes that they made, I have Denver coming in third, 7-5, and I have Las Vegas going 4-8. But yeah, that's just my thoughts and opinions about it. I can't knock anybody else for if they think their team is going 12-0, cool. But if they feel like we're going to take some L's, then that's what it is too. So Eddie, I'm gonna need you to tone it down a little bit. Just tone it down a little bit. You know, it's gonna be all right, man. We gonna still win the whole thing.
12-0.
Okay, 10-2.
A more modest pick from the quarterback and general manager of the Scorpions. We'll round out the Arizona Power Hour, if you will, with one of the newest members of the Scorpions, Hunter Norwood.
Yeah, so I also had Arizona win in the division. I had them 9-3. Too superstitious for 12-0. I had to the West I see was more of a 2-horse race between us and Vegas. Sioux Falls is Sioux Falls. I'm not going to touch them. And Denver, saw them struggling. I don't know. They just didn't work out. I saw the games and it's just kind of how it shook out. But yeah, let's see, 9-3. I was trying to make it work for 8-4 for Arizona because I like trends, and Arizona's gone from, I believe it was Eddie talked about it beforehand. I believe we went 5-7, 6-6, 7-5, and then so by trends we would be 8-4 this season, and last season, and then also like going, I believe we went missed the playoffs, wild card, quarterfinals, semis. So we should be making the finals this season, but I just couldn't. I couldn't do 4 losses. I didn't like the. I had us losing to Atlanta on the road. I couldn't keep it. So I had to switch that one over. But yeah, so 9-3. I think we ended up being the 5th seed is where I had us. So I think we'll be right up in there.
All right. Well, that's a whole lot of Arizona. Let's talk to one of the 5 people that I've seen at least, that have not picked a Scorpion to make it all the way to the big dance. That'd be the general manager of London, Chad Rowland. He has the Denver Nightwings taking the division over Arizona. Tell us why, Chad.
Yeah, I mean, the West, for one, whatever Eddie used to call it back in the day, it was the Hell Division or whatever else. That's long gone. I mean, those days are over. Sioux Falls is just not where Sioux Falls needs to be. Vegas has taken a step down, especially losing Slynn and Tiberius Bovine, Rhett Sawyer. I mean, that defense has just been decimated. And the GM, the new GM over there now, I mean, he's new, but may have made a pick or two that probably wouldn't have been the best pick, but that's neither here nor there. And then, obviously, with Arizona, I mean, Arizona, don't get me wrong, I think it's still a good team. And look, as a coach, I get it. I would have put 12-0 for London too, but if I would have done that, I think the whole community would have drug me out and beat me with sticks. So I think that I love the expectations, but I just don't see it just because, the wide receiver core for me, I mean, you got 2 guys that I think retired 3 times in the past 4 seasons in my mind. Didn't really do a whole lot, but I get it. You had to do what you got to do. And I, glad you were able to pick those guys up to be able to patch things up, but they're not the Hands brothers. That's for sure. But, and I see Denver, being able to build with Price and Bailey O'Shaughnessy. I think O'Shaughnessy, with getting a second season under his belt, I think this is somebody that can come in and really do some damage. And some of the other pickups they've had have been pretty good too. And Wiseman, I think, getting his feet, getting some solid ground under his feet after taking over coaching for Vega. And I think that it's the team that, with the schedule wise and the way it's set up, I think that has the best shot and be able to go 9-3.
All right, let's get one more take on the West Division. Let's go to Daniel Wright over from SFLM Fights and Insights real quick on his take on this West Division.
Yeah, so for the West Division, I think it's actually fairly weak. I do have Arizona coming out with the victory. I got them 8-4, so I found it, Hunter. I found a way to get them 8-4. Don't worry. But other than that, I think Denver goes second as 5-7. I see the division actually getting weaker and weaker as we go on, and I got Sioux Falls going, I think, dead last. That's how I felt. They're not the same team that they used to be, and they're still going. They're still got a lot to work with. They have to figure this out.
Losing Colin Hart in the offseason, definitely not the best course of action, or probably what Sioux Falls as a franchise had in mind, especially how much he meant to the Sparrows. He was pretty much their lifeblood over there. I completely agree with that take there, Mr. Wright. All right, so as far as overall, the division looks as follows from the content creator standpoint. Arizona number 1, Las Vegas get the number 2 spot over Denver, and Sioux Falls wrap it up in the number 4 spot in the division. Final division that we'll touch on in depth before we go on to playoffs, yes, playoffs, is the Pacific Division, of course. And that includes the Lycans, Fleet Mavericks, and Legion. And besides 2 people, besides Slyn and Axel, everybody has Vancouver. Another possible open and shut case, Nelson Lozano?
Yeah, I mean Vancouver has been a team that is very heavy on the pass, man. They can really throw some points up there, and Tom Pepper has been killing it. He has a great supporting cast. We all know what Kendrick can do at that third wide receiver spot. So honestly, I mean Vancouver is a team to really focus on in that Pacific Division. Um, you know, I got it shaken up a little bit differently with again with Los Angeles winning it last season. Having those difficulties in that schedule definitely has them kind of rounding it off at 6-6. With San Diego coming in on the bottom and Portland coming in at second. But everybody's going to be chasing Vancouver. That's not going to be a lie at all. I think with some of the additions they made, as well as some of the rookies they picked up, they're definitely going to be a team to beat.
And speaking of division winners, last season you did mention that the Lycans did come home with the victory. Chad, you have the Lycans finishing dead last in the division. What's your thought process behind that?
I mean, I think this is going to be the season of Andy Hamilton. I know that's going to be crazy to say, but I think Vancouver gets the title just with what they've got going on. The players that they were able to bring in. To me, it's not even close. But I think with San Diego, I know that everybody's going to jump on that hype train because of all the free agent signings they have. But with the coaching and everything that they're be able to do, and what the guys that they've brought in for that, I think that they actually improved tremendously, going 7-5. And I have them making the playoffs for the first time. Portland still in the same spot there at 6-6. And then for me, I just think LA is just kind of taking a step back a little bit. I think, I don't know really exactly what they did to improve their team. And with everybody else jumping and making big signings to improve their team, all 3 of them have. I just see LA just kind of slipping and falling back a little bit. Not too bad, but falling back a little bit at 4-8.
All right, thank you there, Chad. Over now to Simpod again. We'll go to both of you boys. We'll start with Doug, and then Potty, I want to hear your take on the Pacific Division as well. So, Doug, we'll start with you.
Yeah, thanks, Tyler. The top 2 I have in the Pacific are the Legion going 9-3 and the Lycans 8-4. I'm feeling really good about the Legion, Tom Peppers, and their offense, who I think put up 36 or 37 points per game in season 17. This is the strongest receiving core in the game. I like to think of them as like the Rams in the NFL. So I feel strongly about them making the playoffs. I also feel strongly about the Lycans going 8-4. They got Tully Richardson and Robert Johnson, and they made some key pickups in their draft. They picked up 2 offensive linemen, a defensive tackle, 3 linebackers, a free safety, and a punter. So those are my top 2 picks for the Pacific.
Yeah, I'd like to echo what Doug said. So I've got the Lycans going 5-7, the Fleet going 3-9, Mavericks going 1-11, and I got the Legion going 0-12. I feel like they're a little bit cursed, so I don't think this is going to be the season for them.
Okay, I've heard a lot of 2-10 predictions in my lifetime. Not so much Vancouver going 0-12. Is that the new 2-10? Have I finally been taken off the board? Oh my goodness, Ashley Jackson, you're quick on the uptake on that. Enlighten us just a little bit.
That's a very bold prediction. That 0-12. I I don't know if you want to be. Are you sure you want to go there? I'm just saying they're not gonna let you live it down if it don't come true.
That's where we went.
Okay, cool, big thing. Um, the only 2-10 team I have is San Diego Mavericks. They're gonna at least I gave them 2 games. Um, I got Los Angeles going third, 3-9. I have Vancouver 8-4, but I actually have the Portland Fleet winning the division at 9-3. They have actually been on an upward trajectory as well. I think by them stealing a couple of our good players that we had, that's definitely going to help them put them over the top. So I think that's the way that the Pacific is going to shake out. Um, but yeah, the only 2-10 team I can see right now is San Diego Mavericks.
All right, Hacker. Let's go back to you down there in your general manager chair. Fort Worth, as far as you're concerned, in comparison to this Pacific Division, do you guys play the Pacific Division, or what's your overall take on both yourself in Fort Worth and the Pacific Division as a whole?
Yeah, we do. With the Pacific Division is one of the divisions we play outside of the South this season, and I have actually the Legion winning the division in the Pacific as well as the SFL Championship. I think that they're gonna get hot late in the season at just the right time. Like Chad said, I want to mimic those things. I think they had a great draft. I think they always do a really good job retaining the players that they have. Andy and the Legion have really struggled in the playoffs. They have had some success, but really can't win the big game. And I think that's experience is the best teacher. And I think that now is as good a time as ever for Vancouver to really try to make that final push. I have them beating Atlanta in the championship game. Second place in the Pacific would be Portland at 7-5. Again, Ashley made a really great point. Portland on an upward trajectory since their inception has really done great. Just barely missed the playoffs last season. So 7-5 in my chart has them making the playoffs for their first ever appearance. Los Angeles is going to be third in that division at 6-6. Again, I kind of agree with a lot of what was said. I think that they maybe didn't do enough to make a big push, but I don't see them falling back at all. I just kind of see them kind of holding their ground. San Diego rounds things out at 2-10. I think that they're going to build really well on their locker room, much like what I have for Tulsa. I have Tulsa going 3-9 over in the East. I think that you can build that locker room, but sometimes that doesn't always translate to immediate success. And I think that it will take a season for things to get kind of worked out for both of those teams. So San Diego going to be fourth there, and you asked how I think they correlate these teams in the Pacific to the Toros, and what I see in these teams is a lot of variability, different attacking styles. Portland likes to ground and pound, and then Vancouver likes to air it out. Los Angeles can kind of dink and dunk you sometimes, and will also not afraid to take the top off, but have a really good running back there. So I see a lot of creativity with these teams, a lot of potential threats, and really looking forward to playing them in this upcoming season 18.
All right. So, Pacific Division, as far as the content creators as a whole, go as follows: Vancouver 1, Los Angeles 2, Portland 3, San Diego 4. All right. Before we get into the playoffs, I just want to do one quick question for everybody on the panel. We're going to get to all of you guys real quick on your thoughts. Division to watch and why. And we'll just go right around the table, if you will. So, Ashley, division to watch, and real quickly, why?
Division to watch, I would say the West. Arizona is going to be trying to take the championship. So I think that we're going to see how well that upward trajectory that we've been on is going to continue, or if we're going to fizzle out.
Okay. Demond, over to you. Division to watch and why. Demond, I think you're muted, bro.
Thanks, Tyler. I was muted. I'm going to say the South, and the reason why I'm saying the South is not a biased reason, is because the South has been one of the best divisions here in the SFL of the past, 2 seasons. So since we moved to divisions, this division is probably the hardest. I'm going to say one of the 3 hardest divisions within the SFL, and I'm predicting 3 teams to go into the playoffs out of this division.
Okay, Tight pack. Let's go to Mr. Arizona Everything, Eddie Gage, division to watch and why.
I'm going to go with the North. I'm predicting Baltimore to win the division, but London is kind of sneaky, so to speak. I'm hoping that they invest more into their running game this season and make themselves not so one-dimensional. I don't know, just listening to kind of some chat I've been hearing around them, but also Queen City. Chris Comer said, I know some personal things about him with him getting a promotion at work and, him not quite having the time to dedicate to the used to. I'm not sure if that showed up or not, but I'm looking for Queen City, if he did get that straightened out, to try to, get that team back to where they were at the early part of last season.
All right, let's go to Hunter.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the same as Eddie as the North. I just think that there's 3 teams that are definitely going to fight for first place out of the division. And DC is sneaky good, so they can definitely be in that mix too. So it's just I think it's gonna be interesting all the way up to week 12 or week 14 now.
All right, over to Daniel.
Yeah, so I would concur with all of them, but for the sake of being different, I'm going to say the East, because in the East, I had it that the difference between 1 and 4 was just 3 games. So I've had it really close throughout for any of these teams to make a stand. So I think that'll be a fun division to watch as we go through.
Fantastic. Gunny, how about you? Division to watch and why?
I was going to pick the North, but I'm going to go with Daniel with the East. I mean, I have Atlanta, St. Louis, and Louisiana all neck and neck fighting for that top seed. I believe 3 teams from that division are going to be in the playoffs.
All right, Chad, how about you?
Yeah, I could talk about the North all day, but I won't. I mean, my thinking is it's probably the East as well. I mean, just because I think Atlanta just runs the table and wins that division, but the other 3 teams is really interesting. I mean, I didn't really say much about the East, but Louisiana, as Eddie I think alluded to, them spending all that cap on Randy Squarebush when they didn't even improve their wide receiver core is going to be interesting. I'd love to see teams stack 8 or 9 in the box and then find out if they can actually beat somebody. But I think with Tulsa and St. Louis, I think Tulsa, drafting Douglas Brown, obviously, and being able to try to boost that team up a little bit. I want to see if they kind of go a different direction and maybe not try to focus so much on Gabriel Manning, but more of feed this boy the rock. And with St. Louis, I mean, they made LC Mondavi a backup quarterback, so I think their season's just screwed already as it is. So in my mind, they're pretty much at the bottom of the cellar with that move.
Okay. Hot take there. Let's go on to the Simpod boys. Doug, you're up first.
Yeah, I'm on board with Eddie and with Hunter. I think the North Division is going to be the division to watch. You got the Vultures. You got Queen City, who had a great season last year, and I believe they lost in the semis. And then you got the London Knights. All 3 of those teams have high-powered offenses, and I'm looking forward to watching that division and see how it pans out.
All right, Potty, how about you?
The North Division is where it's at. DC Dragons, just like in Game of Thrones, we're getting shot down up above the ice. We're going down low, and then we're being reborn into a new team with that fire breathing, actually like the ice breathing, dragon. And I think we're coming in 12-0.
All right. So not only do you have Vancouver going 0-12, you've got your own club going 12-0.
Exactly. Well, Tulsa's the only other one going 12-0.
Okay. I see. There you go. Simpod boys stick together. All right, Stephen Hacker. How about you? Do you echo the same sentiments as the Simpod?
Well, I think while the North is going to be really entertaining throughout the course of the season, along with the South, but I was surprised that Hunter didn't go with the Atlantic. Just with how the division always kind of shapes out over there, the last 2 or 3 weeks is always so fun to watch when it comes to how that division is going to shape out. So I would say the Atlantic, the last 4 week of the seasons, but the first 10, you couldn't go wrong looking at the North or the South divisions.
Okay. And Nelson, we'll wrap up with you for the division to watch.
I'm gonna say the Pacific. With a lot of the changes with Portland, as Ashley alluded to, saying that we took somebody. I think it was an even trade. Y'all got Shad, we got Bernard, so I think it's an even trade nonetheless. Don't forget he was an All-Star. Um, but I think again, the way everything's shaping up, you got LA, who used to be the division leader, having to challenges this season that a lot of folks don't think they're going to be able to do as well, just for some of the pickups. Vancouver, again, we talked about them retaining a lot of those great players and building upon it even more in the draft. So watching them and who's going to go against them, us in Portland, with some of the changes, some of the rookies we drafted too. I think people forget, is Israel Adams is 6'5", man. Like he's another like type build like Kendra is, and we all see the success that Kendra has in Vancouver. So don't sleep on that. And then Mike Savage was also picked up. Now we all know the excitement that brought along. And we're really excited to have him. I think his play is so dynamic. But you have that situation as well. And then San Diego has picked up a lot of players during the offseason. They added as well in the draft, but they're a team that you really don't know what's going to happen. Uh, they're a team that I think will progressively get better, just like a team would after that period of time, trying to figure out who they are. I think now they're trying to, they got some pieces there that could help even extend that even more. But I just think the Pacific as a whole, just because it has so many mysteries behind it, just makes it a lot of fun to watch to figure out how it end up being.
Okay, thank you, Nelson. Eddie, you want to put a cherry on top to the divisions real quick?
I'll also add on to what he just said about the Pacific. I see Andy finally invested in a kicker. I mean, finally. The league has been asking Vancouver to get one for a long time. He finally went out and got one. In my opinion, it's some of the reasons why they've lost some of those tough, close games versus Baltimore. They just seem to get their number. And losing those games in the playoffs once they got to that Elite Eight or Final Four status, them getting a kicker, I think is going to help them tremendously. Portland, man, if they had Art still, I would be really high on them. If you look up and down their roster on the defensive side, they are stacked. I believe they have 4 defensive line, 4 linebackers, a secondary. They got Vanard, who's a great pickup. I love that kid. Their defense is stacked. I just don't know them, to know if they have someone in place who's familiar with how to use that, because they lost Art, to Florida. The offense has always been the weaker of the two sides of the ball, but no, I mean, they got Ezekiel Love. So as long as you can stay ahead of the change, they can probably make things work, and the defense can win games if they're led the right way by the right individual. I don't even know who the coach is over there, but we'll see the season goes along. But San Diego, everyone talks about them, but they lost a lot of close, tough games, man. I mean, they almost beat Charleston in Charleston and lost that game in the waning minutes of the game. So I look to see what they can do. They've had some coaches changes themselves toward the end of this, midway through the season. They got kind of righted that ship. So we'll see how it goes. They got 4 receivers they paid a lot of money to. Oh my God. It's just, I see them some shootouts because they didn't really invest too much money on the defensive side of the ball other than Zach Lay from Charleston. So we'll see how it goes. Big pickups. That Pacific Division is going to be really interesting to see how it plays out as well. But I think Vancouver takes it because they finally got a kicker.
All right. Moving on. We're going to talk playoffs. So as far as that goes, what we're just going to focus on, we're not going to focus on having everybody say, this team's the number 1 seed, this team's, the number 2 seed, and go on from there. What we're going to do is we're going to tell you guys the last 4 teams to make the playoffs and the first 4 teams out. So those bubble teams. So if you know March Madness, you kind of know what we're talking about. I've asked the content creators to pick 4 teams that they feel is going to be in that bubble. Right now, they're only going to tell you 1, and I'll tell you why as we get to the end of the show. So we're going to start at midway point of the table and go counterclockwise this time around. So we'll start with the wisest man in the SFL, Gunny. I want one team that you had as one of your last 4 teams to make the playoffs, and one of your first 4 teams that were eliminated or out of the playoffs before they even started, and why you picked those 2 teams for those 2 roles.
I got Queen City making the playoffs. They're in the tough North Division, but I think they're going to fit in as the 3rd seed in the North. So they're going to squeeze into the playoffs. And the team that might be out, it's either going to be Carolina or Charleston fighting it out with Florida in the East. So it could be either one of those 2 that might. Any 3 of those teams can kind of reverse themselves and all switch places, but it's going to be either Carolina or Charleston that are going to barely miss the playoffs.
Okay, Daniel, let's go up to you with your take on the bubble teams.
So I actually have the Portland Fleet being one of the last 4 teams to make the playoffs. They're going to inch themselves in. And sorry, Hacker, I have to do this to you, but I have Fort Worth Toros as one of the last few teams to not make it. I think they're going to have a good season, but I think they're just going to miss out.
And having Mike Twinscrew to jumpstart that offense over there with Fort Worth might help them out a little bit, as the Simpod boys. Oh my goodness, we enter the Shadowrell again with the Simpod. He not only sends 1, but sends 2 back in there. Does Morpheus Bo Martin Jr. Where is Bo Martin Jr. nowadays? He's probably just cackling his head off as we go over to Hunter Norwood on the bubble teams.
Sorry, I was muted.
Okay.
Yeah, so I also had Portland. Well, I'll do someone different. I actually had DC as one of the last 4 in, which at 6-6, just barely squeaking in. And what was it? Yeah, we had them 6-6, squeaking in on strength of victory, and then we're doing the other side too, right?
Right. Yes.
One of my 4 to miss was Jacksonville. I have Jacksonville doing better than last season, but being just on the outside looking in. And in my breakdown, I had them missing on strength of victory as well. Yeah, I'll say that with these, with the new schedules, playing the different divisions, it helps at times with the common games, but at other times, if you're tied with a team that didn't play that division at all or that other division at all, then you got to just hope that you beat some good teams.
All right, Eddie, over to you.
Oh man, this is one of the toughest parts about filling out this sheet. I think this is gonna bring a smile to Chad's face, but I think that Carolina is finally gonna get over the hump and make the playoffs. And I'll say why. They have a offensive coordinator in Hattori Hanzo, who has been I guess revigorated, I don't know, and is back in the fold, and they could never seem to just figure things out offensively, and then when he came back last season, he kind of showed that spark of what he, and I think because they're gonna find to sneak into the playoffs. As far as one of the last 4 teams not to make it, LA made it to the playoffs their first 2 seasons in. And I think there might be some regression there, and they may find themselves just missing out on the playoffs season 18.
All right. Damon, how about you on these bubble teams? One of the last 4 teams to make the playoffs and one of the first teams to be out of the playoffs.
Last 4 teams in the playoffs, I have Baltimore, Atlanta, Houston, and Mexico City. First 4 teams out of the playoffs, I have the Florida Storm, Fort Worth Toros, Queen City Corsairs, and Louisiana.
It's a pretty substantial couple of picks there, especially picking Florida to miss the playoffs. Is that due to Mighty stepping down from a coaching role in your opinion?
I have them making the playoffs, but
Oh,
say
okay.
the first 4 teams out of the playoffs. So
Right.
I have them making the playoffs,
Okay.
but they're going to be. I'm projecting them to be eliminated the first round. I don't think Mighty's. He says that he's going to let his guys do all the work, but he's such a competitor. I don't see him stepping all the way down. I think he may have a pinky toe in or a pinky finger. He's gonna have something to say. He's gonna have something in there. Trust.
Okay. All right, Ashley Jackson, how about you?
Okay, so last four teams. Last team to make it in the playoff, I have the Sioux Falls Sparrows because I think, actually, I do have them. I also have Carolina, I have Denver, and I have the Fort Worth Toros. I kind of want to talk about the Fort Worth Toros because they did have to pick up a lot of different positions in the draft. But I do believe that Hacker does have some tricks up his sleeve to be able to get this his locker room going the way it needs to be able to flow, but to make it to the playoffs. Now, whether they're going to go deep in it, I'm not quite sure. But the one of the teams that are actually having leaving the playoffs relatively quickly would be the Carolina Skyhawks, because they have a tendency to kind of it's almost like all or bust with them. So they'll be winning the game, and all of a sudden, just something will just happen. With Hattori over there helping out, I do know that he does like to throw the ball. It's something that he just loves to do. So if he is going to have them throwing, if he's going to have Carolina throwing all day, and if Matt South is able to do that without too many interceptions, then I could see them going far in the playoffs. But if they can't do that, then they're going to be out.
Copy that. All right, Nelson Lozano, you're up next for the bubble teams.
So the teams that are able to make it, I put Los Angeles, Louisiana, Mexico City, and Charleston. And then the teams out, I put Tulsa Desperados, Jacksonville Kings, Fort Worth Toros, and then the Las Vegas Fury. I mean, with all these teams, I mean, again, there's a lot of newness in those situations. Um, and I know certain situations like in there, I mean, there's a new GM in one of those teams. We got a new quarterback. You don't know how a rookie quarterback's going to just come out of the gate. Um, you have Jacksonville who kind of had some holes, and I know they wanted to create a really strong defense, but they had to pick up a lot in this draft. So I feel like that kind of gave them the opportunity where they wouldn't have had that. And in Tulsa, new toys. I mean, Douglas Brown, and a couple of rookies came in, and I think they will help out for the future. But I don't know if they're gonna make enough to go 12-0 like I think they're expecting to go.
Okay, Hacker, let's go to you.
Yeah, my let's see, I had one of my last four in the playoffs. I don't think anybody said Las Vegas, so I'll go with Vegas, sneaking in at 6-6. And last four out, I haven't heard Denver, so I'll go Denver, one of the last four out.
Okay, over to the Sim Pod now. Potty, you got the first take on the bubble teams.
Yeah, so last four teams in the playoffs, Houston Hyenas. They don't necessarily go in for the kill, but they do consume the carcass. So I think that they take it home. Last four teams out of the playoffs, I've got the Kings. I've been to Jacksonville a couple times for the Florida Georgia game. Pretty good time at the Landing, but ultimately didn't make the cut.
Copy that. All right, how about your partner in crime over there, Doug?
Yeah, so I think I really messed up the section when I was filling it out, and now hearing everyone's picks and looking at mine and knowing that 12 teams are in the playoffs and not six, I don't know where I got six playoff teams. So Cam, I apologize. I'll give one from each. I say the Skyhawks make it into the playoffs with a 6-6 record, and I think the St. Louis Gladiators just missed the playoffs with a 5-7 record.
All right. And finally, we'll wrap up the playoff seeding with Chad.
Yeah, so I'll give a team that nobody has said that's the last four in, which I have the which Gunny will love, the glorious Lone Star Glory. I think with the players that they've been able to bring in, Bogey Barr, I think is going to be a really underrated linebacker for this team this season. I think he was second in the league in tackles in SFLM last season. I think he had almost like 90, and he dropped all the way to 12, which was absolutely ridiculous. I think Lone Star and plus what they've got there, I think they squeak in. And then one of the last four that I have out is the Louisiana Revolution. I mean, just because of the fact, like I said, with whole, the running game is going to be very solid. Don't get me wrong on that, but it's kind of like I alluded to before. I think with the teams that have made moves and everything else, some of theirs have been kind of like, what's going on, and I could just see Louisiana once again being one of the last four out.
All right, solid take there. All right, so after all the playoffs are said and done, we have to crown a champion. I saw a lot of similar teams mentioned. There were a couple Atlantas, a couple of Arizonas, a couple of Mexico Cities, a couple of Vancouver Legion. Let's just go to Hunter Norwood. We'll start with you, with champion. Who do you have as the champions of season 18?
I have Arizona Scorpions winning their first title over London.
Okay, and you actually put in your entire bracket in there. You went
Yeah,
above and beyond
I
the
had
Call
a
of Duty.
thing.
So
I have a cheat sheet. I figured I might as well.
there you go. Let's go to the Arizona Scorpion boss himself. He must like that pick. In fact, I think he picked his own club to go to the championship himself. So
First of all, I'm not the boss. I just happen to be. I just hate that word boss, but I just happen to be the owner of the team, and I'm not. It's our team, so it's our team, not my team. But I got us winning the championship, or whoever makes it there along.
all right. And we're going to do a little bit of a flip-flop it as well. So just everybody stay on your toes. We'll go to Daniel right this time around. Season 18 champion and why?
So I said Baltimore because just look at the last season they have. Until you beat them, until someone actually can beat them in the playoffs, it's a hard time for me to say that they're not going to win it all again. But I really hope someone does. And I think if anyone does, I think Florida's defense is just going to be outstanding this season. I think they'll take a run for it.
All right. Damon, you're up next. You're champion for season 18.
No one has been talking about this team, but they're the sleeper, the Atlanta Storm. I mean, not the Atlanta Storm, sorry, the Atlanta Swarm. This team is a sleeper. Everyone is picking the Baltimore's, Arizona. They was there last season. They was the top four. But you can't forget about the Atlanta Swarm. That team was tough. And what they did in the playoff game versus Arizona by coming back as they were down big, almost winning that game, that team could have been in the Final Four as well. But I'm not sure if you're going to get to this question. I may be jumping the gun here now, Tyler Falk. But if you look at my what I have for the game to watch in the event, I also have Arizona versus Baltimore. And I said that could have also been the season 17 championship game. And this game could also be the season 18 matchup in the championship game as well. We could also see Arizona and Baltimore there. But I'm picking the Atlanta Swarm as the champions.
Okay. Yeah, it's a week 13 matchup, that Arizona-Baltimore game you're talking about, Damon. That is, I think a couple people have that on their game to watch. And we'll get to more of that later indeed. All right, Gunny, you're up next. You're champion for season 18.
Like I told you today when we spoke on the phone earlier, I want to see a new champion in the SFL this season. So I have Vancouver playing London in the championship game. Neither one has won a championship game. And I have the surprise London Knights winning the championship game only because Mike St. Green has to talk with Cam about it all season long.
That's fantastic, Gunny. Ashley, I hope you don't take offense to this. I might go to the general manager for a comment from London real quick if you don't mind, on his take from Gunny and who he thinks the champion will be.
That is why they call him the wisest man in the SFL, right? I mean, I love it, Gunny. I love it. I said it earlier. I think that when they come off of the mountaintop Andy Hamilton and Michael Prococo be holding hands in hand, carrying the SFL trophy. I think it's just Vancouver's season, but I think who they play is exactly who Damon picked as Atlanta. I mean, this team is just stacked top to bottom, and that is a credit to that entire front office. Siege Falco and Mark and all them guys. I mean, they've done such a tremendous job. I told actually Siege that the other day, and with the players they have, and I think BDG just has a breakout season. I know he's broken out before, but I think he's going to break out again. I'd see Vancouver just barely squeaking by Atlanta for the championship.
Okay, now let's get to Ashley Jackson and who she thinks the champion will be.
Well, I guess that was cool. I actually have us winning, the Arizona Scorpions winning season 18 over Baltimore. Because of the trajectory, if we're talking about stats and trajectory, yes, we did lose the Hands brothers. Yes, we did have a few things that took place in the off season, but we've always had people leave since we've been here. Has never stopped us from gaining gaining more wins per season, going farther per season. So if you're talking about the trajectory and the trends, then of course we'll be in the playoffs. I have us winning. I mean, we'll be in the championship, and I have us winning it all.
Okay, let's go to the first of two SimPod boys that have joined us tonight. Douglas Brown. So we heard a couple of Arizona picks. We heard the upstart London Knights getting a championship. We've heard Atlanta taking the championship. Who do you have?
Yeah, my hot take on the championship, I have to be biased going number one. I think the Tulsa Desperados are going to win the championship. Again, we made some key pickups in the offseason for the draft and the free agency.
Hey, with your chest, Doug. Talk to him.
I have us going 9-3 in the East Division, along with the Atlanta Swarm going 9-3, and the Revs and the Gladiators both going 6-6. I'm super excited for season 18, and I have the Tulsa Desperados winning the championship. Let's go.
It's been a long time coming for you, especially waiting on an extra season in the minor league to finally get in the major league. One of the best guys that I was able to meet at the convention. Doug, thanks for the championship pick. Nelson, let's go to you, a voice we haven't heard throughout the last year. Let's get your championship prediction here for season 18.
I selected for Atlanta to win it all. I think we talked about the coaching. They've done it before. They won in season 14. I just think, again, they have a lot of pieces that are still there that are dangerous, and I think they picked up some that would just help help that come along, and I have them winning it all.
All right. Now we go back to SimPod once more. Potty, how about you for your season 18 champion?
I think the dark horse DC Dragons demolish everyone in their path. We're going to the top. It's been our year for a while. We've been close on a lot of games, but I think our time has come, and we're about to ring the bell into the new year of 2022 with the 18th SFL Championship.
All right. If you're going to pick your club to go 12-0, might as well pick and win the championship. Hacker, let's wrap up championship status with you.
Yeah, I got Vancouver winning it all, beating Atlanta in the championship game. Again, I think Vancouver's going to get hot at just the right time, going into the playoffs, winning their last couple of games after their bye week. And I think that's enough to get them a push all the way to get their first championship.
Okay, so we've gone on for close to an hour and a half now. Thanks, everybody, for sticking with us. We're going to go ahead and start wrapping things up with our hot takes for season 18 and what we're most excited for come season 18 and beyond here in the SFL. We'll start with Nelson Lozano. And Nelson, before you go ahead and give us your wrap up, not only on what you're excited for and maybe a hot take or two, but again, it's great to have you back on the airwaves here for another podcast, for another league event. You've meant so much, especially to myself, being one of the first people I was interviewed by, and I had the opportunity to come on inside the league with Nelson Lozano back when I was in the minor league. And so again, your return can't come soon enough, and we wish you all the best, and hopefully you can come back sooner rather than later. Give us your wrap up, sir.
I appreciate it. That means a lot to me, Tyler. Before I address it, I appreciate it. It has been a very tough year. I gone through a lot, more than I like to share, to everybody. But yeah, it's been tough. But I keep my head strong, and I smile. I just got to go through what I have to go through, so I could be better and be back and be at full force for everybody and do what I love. I mean, what I did with you and a lot of rookies and a lot of people in this league was get to know them. I did Damon, I did Ashley, Eddie Gage, Daniel Wright. There's a lot of people on here. Chad, like there's a lot of people here that I have conversations with, and we got to know each other, not just as the people that they see on TV or they see on streams of being owners and stuff, but people themselves. I mean, even me and Damon basically, had a good old time talking about H-Town music and everything like that. How that played a huge factor in my life, coming down there for the summers and stuff like that and spending time in Houston. And it's just really great to get that part, so thank you. But yeah, the things I'm excited about, the convention. I'm hearing a lot of names, a lot of cities. I don't know, Chad talking about some of his mansion out in the mountains or something like that, in the jacuzzi. I don't know, I'm hearing all this crazy stuff, but whatever city is chosen, I heard Baltimore in there too and a couple other places. So it's gonna be very interesting to see where the convention is this year, and when that is announced. It's gonna be very excited to see the people that really make this league what it is, and sharing that time with y'all. The return of Access to the airwaves, I think, was a huge thing for me. I know he's coming with a different type of show, but Access, man, I feel like he really takes a different stand and approach to a lot of this content. And I think what made him just different is that he got different viewpoints from different parts of the league. And there's always been an episode or two that are very conversation worthy after the fact. So you got to give him props on that, on really bringing some of these issues alive. And if there was an issue in this league that the league felt was very strong about it, he was in the forefront of it. So very excited to see him come back. I know it's on a different capacity, but nonetheless, that's my guy. And then this content creator roundtable. We being out for a year, I got to take a step back and see how now the content team has evolved. We got the Simpod guys. There's a couple other folks that have been coming out that again just evolve what we love the most. We all have different aspects of what we do to bring content to this league. We love it a lot, and I mean this is our off time. I mean, honestly, and with our off time that we have, we still try to give more to this league, not just including everything you do for your team. So I was really excited about this. I think it was exciting to hear everybody's viewpoint too, from the OGs in the game, Damon, Ashley, Eddie, to some of the newer guys that are coming around. Douglas Brown, congratulations going number 1. It's really great to hear your perspective as well, because you have a fresh perspective coming from that minor league, versus the OGs. The OGs have more, and Stephen Hacker have that OG mindset where they coming in here, been around for a while, been in a lot of different roles within this league, and it's just really great to spend that time with y'all.
Thanks again, Nelson, and hopefully we can hear you again on the airwaves quite soon. All right, let's go on to Stephen Hacker. Hacker, you and Mark Lopez run the official stats for game day operations. In fact, I believe that's your title. Uh, Tell us how people can get involved with stats, because from a broadcaster's point of view, I know a couple of us on here are broadcasters for the SFL. Myself, Eddie Gage included, Damon Simeon included, yourself included. But stats people that do stats not only just for the league during the game, but doing stats for their teams off after the fact as well. It's so undervalued. Stats people are what make this league, one of the best leagues there could ever be, having up-to-date live trackers, because we know that our simulation engine, All Pro Football 2K8, is not suited for something like we're trying to bring, and having those people is fantastic. How can people get involved, and where can we catch you next? And of course, your wrap up on this evening.
Yeah, I want to say thanks, Tyler. Big shout out to the stats team. Mark Lopez put in a lot of work to the stat sheet this off season, and it's really just been a long grind in that department. For a long time we weren't able to get the stats live into the production, and that's something that we were able to do this off season. And I think it's really going to shine a light on the hard work that that department does week in and week out for the league. And I know more team owners have really got behind the stats department and made an effort to get contributors in that department because for a long time it was a small team. So really great to kind of turn a corner in that department, make some groundbreaking moves to get us a little more visible in front of the league and in front of the television audience and so on. And so really excited about those things. If you need to get in, if you're interested or curious about how to get into the stats department, you can always send myself. I'm S Hacker in the Discord, or Mark Lopez in the Discord. You can send either one of us a message, or just if you're on a team already, reach out to your general manager or your team, the owner of your team, and they can get you to one of us and into that department. We're always looking for people. Don't think that it's if you miss the beginning of the season or anything like that. Just if it's something you're interested in, by all means, join up and we'll get you going. Um, I had for my hot take of the season, Tyler. Um, I had Tulsa underperforms after a good off season, and Vancouver gets hot at the right time and tops Atlanta in the championship. The game or event that I'm most excited for. I'm usually always excited for the championship game. I feel like, that's whenever all of the production departments, Tyler, I know you've been a part of this now for a couple of seasons, and I think you kind of understand what I'm getting at is everything, all of the cogs in the machine are kind of well oiled at that point. Everybody is kind of at their peak in terms of performance, production wise, broadcaster wise, statistician wise. So the championship game for me is always a great show. It's always a lot of fun to be a part of that time of the season. So that would probably be the game that I look forward to most every season.
Thank you, Hacker. Please get involved with stats if you can. Hacker and Mark are two of the best people to learn from as far as that goes. Reach out to them if you have any questions. Ashley Jackson had to scamper. Again, she's been feeling under the weather last couple of days. Thankfully for her, it's not COVID, but she wishes, of course, everybody well in this new year. She's inviting everyone to join her for her 200th show. That's unheard of, especially in this league. 4 years she's been doing content creation for the SFL. Go check her out. SFL Nights with Ashley Jackson, link to which can be found at simulationfl.net, the league's official website. Go click on her button. It'll take you straight to her podcast, and you can listen back to all of her podcasts. And, of course, don't miss number 200. All right, moving on to one of the newest content creators in the league, the SimPod. What is this, an honorary beer, or what kind of beer are we talking, gentlemen? Go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here. Take it away, Potty and Brown.
We're super grateful to be here and to be amongst all the content creators that have come before us, those that have started their stake kind of after us, and all of us coming together towards a unified front. I think that we're really building something powerful, and it's really about the community. I think the most important metric of the year is 88 new users in the SFL that have joined. I think that we look at viewers from a perception of how much traffic we're gaining, but it's about the users, the people that are actually a part of the league, and we've added 88 new ones to that. So I think that we're really expanding the realm in which we can connect with people across different countries, different states, different regions, but to come down and build something from a strong foundation upon which we can all connect with is something really powerful, and I'm proud to be a part of that.
Yeah, just to piggyback off of what Lottie said, the SFL community is second to none, and I'm really appreciative and happy to have kind of stumbled upon the SFL due to John Pickler. So John Pickler, thank you so much for that random conversation we had in April of 2020, and that's one of the reasons why I'm here today. And it's been such an experience, and the convention last year in League City, Texas was outstanding. The SimPod looks forward to future conventions that the SFL hosts moving forward. And I think my hot take for the season overall is, number one, watching the Tulsa Desperados and seeing that we will be a sleeper in season 18, and then just the overall growth and what content that the content creators are putting out on a regular basis. That's what's really going to allow the league to grow. And as Potty said, I'm happy to be a part of it.
Thank you, gentlemen. We look forward to what would be beer number 52 if I have my beers right. Is that right there, Doug?
57.
57. Okay, I'm a few behind. I got some catching up to do. Thank you, gentlemen. All right, Chad, Roland, you guys put on some of the greatest one-off content that the league sees, especially when you guys brought in Johnny Picker. Your free agent acquisition show was fantastic. I had to bring you onto this show. You're one of the nicest guys, in the league. There's a lot of great people here, Chad. You're fantastic. So,
Stop.
Tell us what London's planning on as far as content creation goes, and as far as what you guys are looking forward to, and of course your hot take and outlook for season 18.
Jump your car one time and you're just all nice to me, aren't you? London, we always got a few tricks up our sleeves when it comes to content and stuff. So be on the lookout for that. We're still trying to wrap up some of the finalization part of it. You may see, maybe there's a show with just me and Johnny talking shit. I think that would get a lot of people tuning in. But besides the fact of all that, I mean, what I'm really looking forward to, this season is just, first of all, the content from everybody, right? I mean, for what the minor league fights and insights guys are doing, I mean, that's a fantastic thing to have a show dedicated just for the SFLM. And then don't forget about, I mean, we have shows, but don't forget about the publication side of things. You got Swamp Talk, you got the Miller Report, you got the stuff that Slant and all the other beat writers putting out every year. Just fantastic articles to be able to read. I'm more of, kind of a reading type of guy anyway. So be able to see that is really good. And, in the new upstart NETMA, how you're going to do things differently, this season is really piqued my interest. So it's going to be a lot of fun to be able to have content 5 days a week. Like, that's pretty impressive all on its own. Looking forward to once again to just another fantastic season in the SFL. I mean, obviously, with all the teams, I mean, everybody's made major improvements to their rosters, and just the competition and everything else that we all have, and we all love this league, and we all love the community. As Hacker alluded to, I mean, the stats group is how I, kind of got started. Back when I was in there with season 14, when we had like 3-4 people doing it every week. Those are the old days, Hacker. You remember those. Gerald and I and a few other people were helping out there. But that's such a great thing to be able to get a start with, just because you can see the production side of things and all the hard work these guys do each and every week. So if you do want to join Stats, do it, because it's a fantastic time. But everything else, I'm just wish everybody the best of luck this season, and I'm just really looking forward to seeing who ends up winning the championship.
Fantastic, Jack. Thanks for coming around. All right, the wisest man of the SFL, Gunny. I know I'm asking a lot of you here late on in the show, but it's been a while since we've heard some pearls of wisdom. I don't have the Marines hymn on me right now. I don't know if Ray has it still on a hotkey or whatnot. But Gunny, give us your pearls of wisdom for season 18, and let us know where we can find you next, and go ahead and wrap up your side of things.
This season, I'm looking forward to another season of Cameron Irvine and Mike St. Green bannering on the halftime shows. Hot takes of the season. I'm excited about these 23-man rosters. We're going to have some dime defenses, 4 wideouts on receiving cores, special teams players, punters, and kickers. Comes down to the game planning and to how Cam's Xbox wants to work that game day. A shout out to my South Division foes, DR Sims, Stephen Hacker, Ramos. I love the South Division. I enjoy meeting all these guys, especially at the convention. Looking forward to seeing who everyone I can meet this coming season. Good luck to everyone in the season, and that is all.
Thank you, Gunny. All right. Daniel Wright, you fill in once again for Axel Raven. Not only on draft night, but right here on the round table. Thank you for filling in. It's been great having you. SFL Fights and Insights, the only SFLM specific media outlet for the minor league. It was a huge undertaking. There was talks. I talked about maybe being focused solely on SFLM when I started. That didn't pan out. I become more overarching, just like almost everybody else. You guys have given the minor league something of their own that the SFL can't take away. You guys, I think, are absolutely fantastic in what you do. Please keep up the content, and we hope to hear more from you guys soon. Wrap up your side of the show for both yourself and Axel. Where can we find Fights and Insights, and what's your hot take and wrap up on season 18?
Yeah, so thank you very much, Tyler. And I'm going to give a shout out, small one, to Nelson, who is a little sick. If I didn't do the interview when I was in the minor leagues, I don't think I'd be here right now doing these kind of things. So I'm shout out to him, and shout out to AJ as well for giving me the steps I could to be here. For minor leagues Fights and Insights, we're going to take a small break, just a very small break. We're going to be back probably about March, but we are going to still do tutorials as much as we can on Axel's YouTube channel, I do believe. Trying to help the new minor leaguers as they come in. As soon as they come in, just give them their feet, know how to step. But yeah, we're definitely coming back for season 2. Axel's excited for it. I made sure he's in for another one, so we're going to do it. My hot take, I guess I'm a little personal with this. I said Squarebush will replace Colin Hart as #1 running back in Louisiana halfway through the season. So I went big with this hot take. Stat-wise, they're very similar. I think Louisiana is going to look to the future halfway through the season, try and figure out what's working, what's not with them, and I think Squarebush is the key for that. For which game and event? London versus Baltimore, week 1. Can they do it again? I want to see London take it to Baltimore once more. I heard Chad talking about his Sims already beforehand, so I'm looking forward to that game and seeing what comes from it.
Thank you, Daniel, and we look forward to more SFLM content in the future. Hunter Norwood just started up Premier Stats just a few weeks ago. It's now the overarching branch, if I remember correctly, of Jack's Data. In that you can explain to us a little bit more. I've got to get more info from you about the Elo, about the spreads, because I definitely want to use your guys' stats and spreads for NETMA. I'm sure a lot of us content creators will be looking to reach out to you more. I especially will, because I've got a couple things planned that I want to talk to you about. But tell us what you guys have got planned with Premier Stats. I know you guys also now have a charity you guys work along with. Tell us a little bit about that as well. And then go ahead, wrap up season 18, hot takes, and what you're looking forward to.
Yeah, so Premier Stats is my thinking of it as is basically it's going to be an umbrella, we'll say, company. And so Jack's Data is one ecosystem within Premier Stats. And then I'm looking into some different avenues that we can kind of start to dip our toes into and kind of branch out a little bit. So I've constantly, it's hard to find good help these days. And I want to get a social media branch going and kind of build a social media ecosystem. And then I want to get some content creators to build a content creation ecosystem. So Jack's Data is our analytical branch. I want content creation. I need social media presence. You were saying in the green room before, you're a little inept on the Twitter. I'm a little better than that, but I don't really have the free time for it. I tried my hand to add written, long form written work. It's fun for about 5 weeks, and then I either run out of ideas or I get burnt out. And so I just need someone that just loves to write and can, I can shoot them ideas or they can think of their own ideas. I think that would just be a little easier on me. Because I do want to put out our power rankings that we had going for a while. It's just, I don't want to put out just rankings and just say, here's the rankings. I want a little something, a little more meat to the bone. One of the things I put in the event I'm looking forward to is I put it down as Fantasy Football 2.0. Hacker, those guys over there, they try to do some DFS work. I really liked what they had going. I think Hacker just figured out or realized how much work really goes into it. Because I knew when he started it's gonna be a lot, and he figured it out. But there's a good baseline for it. There's a good foundation for it. And we're already starting to work on some more fantasy football. I think we're going just standard fantasy football with this one. So we have Stats Crew. Jack is helping out. We have some. We've already built a few processes that would help towards fantasy football. That we just kind of have to pivot a little bit on. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that turns out. Fantasy football could be a thing that we could kind of partner up with the league or with however it comes to be, and that can just build another ecosystem under Premier Stats. And then the other thing, like you said, the charity. I'm wearing merch right now. You crop me out. I guess I could stand up. We'll run that. Let's see. There we go. I have this. It's Save the Lions. No kingdom without the king. I like that little tagline. Couple different colors, different things. It's just a crew neck. I like it. I don't know. I wear crew necks a lot, so figured I'd get the crew neck and in the Arizona orange, of course. But we crew necks, sweatshirts, regular t-shirts, long sleeves, women's shirts, all that. That's through Bonfire, and that link is it's pinned on our Twitter, and then I also have it in my Discord, like about me bio stuff. So if you just click on my name and in Discord, you can find it. So the merch is through Bonfire. The profits from that go straight to the Panthera Corporation, which is working to basically help save the lions. The lion population out in sub-Saharan Africa is down to I think 20,000 lions. Most of that's just due to expansion, just human expansion. Hunting lands are changing. There's poachers. There's this. There's that. People that are living in their sort of area, the lions will attack livestock. So then the people of that village will try to kill the lion because they don't want to kill the livestock. But there's better ways to do that. But yeah, so there's that. We also have a GoFundMe if you're more of a just straight donation type. And then along with that, myself personally, I'll be donating $5 per over. So we do over-unders and spreads for every game. Every time we hit an over, I'll do $5 per game for this entire season, throughout the regular season and the playoffs. I might hit up some guys. I bet Ethan $20. I gave him 6.5 points on Lexington. They scored a late touchdown and lost the game by 6, so I lost that bet. So you win some, you lose some. But I'm gonna look for some fun little side bets like that. If people are interested in that sort of thing, you want to do some little side bets, just go straight to charity. That's more power to you. Now, as far as SFL stuff goes, I'm looking forward to Arizona versus the entire North. I think we do very well against who else are we playing? I think we do very well against our division. I had us splitting against Las Vegas. What was it? We're also playing the East. I think we did pretty well. I had us doing pretty well against the East, and then splitting 2-2 on the North. So I think the North is the division that we play that's going to make or break the season. I think, even if we do poorly, we still make the playoffs. But if we do poorly, the seeding's not going to be well. But if we do decent to good, we're going to get that good seeding. Now my hot take, I'd say it's kind of hot. I have the North sending the entire division to the playoffs. And that would mean I have London as the 2 seed at 10-2. I have Baltimore as the 6th seed at 9-3. And they're the 6th seed because they didn't win the division. So that's how it's going to be. I have Queen City at 7 at 8-4, and then DC slips into 12 at 6-6. So yeah, that is my little wrap up.
Okay, thank you, Hunter. All right, Mr. Arizona Everything, you stood up. Say it with your chest. Another new content creation for the SFL, another outlet to get our SFL fix. What is Say It With Your Chest planning here in season 18, and give us your wrap up for the season, sir.
As far as the show goes, I had to go, and first of all, I want to get a shout out defensive tackle for the Swarm for taking the time to sit down with me and show me the ins and outs of using OBS and getting everything up and running. Try and do it myself because now one of my producers, Harish, has a full-time job. He's finished with school, so he doesn't have the time to dedicate to the show what he used to have. So there were times I wanted to do the show and could not because he was busy. And when he does have free time, he got a job. He got like 3 girlfriends, so it's hard for me to even sit down with him because he's always busy doing something, taking somebody out. So shout out to Harish for at least getting it going for me, and shout out to Swole for getting me going so I can do it on my own. As far as the season goes, when me coaching a team, it's hard for me to have a regular schedule for a couple of reasons. One, I got a new job for you guys who don't know. I no longer travel for work. I work for the Arizona Diamondbacks, and during the season, it's hard because they don't have a set schedule, and a lot of their games is over the weekends or later in the week, and so I don't have a set schedule of when I can put the content out there. So I'm looking to move it perhaps earlier in the week, say like Tuesdays and Wednesdays, or maybe even Thursdays. I don't know, or it may even just flex around due to whenever the schedule is during the baseball season. That and the fact that I'm coaching, it makes it hard for me to dedicate the time I want to dedicate to putting the content there. But when I do, I try to bring you guys everything I have, and I appreciate everyone who tunes in and watches the show. Crazy DM questions, man. Some of them SFL related, some of them not, as you guys have heard some of them. Others I choose not to even put out there because it's just ridiculous. But I look forward to answering your questions when I can, when I think that answering them will not get me kicked out of ownership, because I know Kim is always waiting because he hates Arizona and wants to see us fail in the worst way. So I'm kidding. But yeah, so that's that. I'm like I said, I'm trying to do my own now. So when those guys are available, I can still continue to provide content for you guys. I love the show, man. I love the idea of what I'm taking with it, and just kind of letting you guys, dedicate or predict how the show is going to go with the questions you ask and the guests I bring on. So that, and as far as season 18, there's a few things I'm looking at. One, there are, I think, 4 or 5 teams that have new coaches, and I'm really curious to see what Carolina does with Hattori Hanzo spearheading the offense. Art moving. I know he wanted to do offense, and now he's over in Florida. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how or what direction he takes that team in, and how he grows as a coach. Because it's painful. Trust me, I know offense is not easy. Another one I got is Portland losing their defensive coordinator with Art, and now according to Portland over here in the building, their owner is going to be doing this. See how it's going to work out because they're deep stacked, man. Oh my God, they can play a variety of different coverages and do what they want to do on defense. They can pretty much dictate the pace if they want. So It's going to be interesting to see how they do. I'm also interested in seeing how San Diego develops, how they improve. Like I said earlier, they came a long way from the time of the start of the season to now, and I'm looking to see how they're going to use those 4 receivers, led by Gunnar Lewis, who left San Diego, who left Sioux Falls to be with them. They got 4 receivers. I think 3 of them are highly paid, so we'll see how that shakes out. They also got Zach Lay from Charleston, so that's going to be interesting to see how they use him, because they can, pretty much put teams in man and play zone underneath. They can do a lot of different things. So that's going to be interesting to see. Vegas, I forgot who mentioned it earlier, but they lost some big pieces. They lost Rhett to Florida. I mean, can you imagine Rhett and Alex Dominguez in the same? Oh my God, that can be a terror. So it's going to be interesting to see how they spawn. But Vegas lost, man, some big pieces with Slynn and Rhett. Their offense is still pretty straightforward from last season, but they lost Bovine too. So that's a Hall of Fame tight end out the window. And I'm just curious to see, are they going to be able to generate turnovers now that they don't have Rhett rushing the passer, getting that pressure on the quarterback to make ill-advised throws? So we'll see. Perhaps they continue that. I don't know. See, come week 1. Fort Worth, I'm really interested to see how they respond. They now have 3 receivers to do other things with offensively. They were kind of limited with what they could do with only having 2 receivers, but now they have 3. If that defense can play anywhere near as well as it played last season, I think they're going to be the team to look out for as well. DC is my next team. They lost a bunch of games in the 4th quarter last season by 1 score or less, and in which they had to lead entering the 4th quarter, but somehow just could not hang on. They have a new defensive coordinator, Kanye Rockefeller, I'm told, is going to be taking the fold over there, calling the defense. So he used to play for me, and I know he got a copy of my playbook he took with him. So we'll see how that works out for them. And I think that's about it as far as all that goes. As far as personally, I like to play against the best, and I'm really looking forward to that Baltimore matchup. When I saw it in the schedule, I said, okay, here's my chance to go out here and show and prove. I think I played them last in season 16, and they scored 1 offensive touchdown, and we lost the game. But, it is what it is. Looking forward to that matchup more than anything else. I'm not looking past anybody. I'm just saying I'm really looking forward to that matchup. We lost the Hans brothers, man, and that was big. And people always tell me when I turn in my playbook and we go to play against teams, they tell me how tough the Hans brothers are. And to me, it was always hard to fathom because they on my team, I see them all the time. But now that they're gone, and I have Ryan and Connor, and I started running sim, like, whoa, okay, I can't do this. Oh, damn, I can't do that. So I have to, kind of slim down the playbook a bit until those guys get speed, because their build isn't quite where I need it to be to do things that I like to do. But that's okay, because when I first got the Hans brothers, as dynamic as they are, they weren't where they are either. And I could have got them there sooner, but they did not want to get rid of those animations, so it took them a long time to build up. And sure enough, right as free agency ends, I lose both of them to retirement. And like I said, Ashley particularly saved our season. And I didn't even know what Chad mentioned earlier. Those guys retired, I think he said 2 or 3 times. I'm like, damn, I didn't know that. So hopefully they stick around. They seem pretty excited. I show them clips in the locker room and stuff all the time. Connor in particular, and even Ryan get excited when I show them stuff, and they can't wait to start. And one other thing, Hunter, having him on the team was a blessing, because I lost Max Knight, and I had just got his build up to where I could do things with him. And man, Hunter fell into our laps, and I'm so thankful he came over. But at the same time, it's a lot of pressure, because bringing a guy like that on, he's a veteran. He left Jacksonville because he wants to win games, but he also, I remember saying, he did not want to, chase championships. He wanted to go to a team that was a contender and not necessarily championship ready or whatever. I forget how he termed it. But, having veterans like him on a team, it's a lot of pressure to win. And I remember talking to DJ in a front office meeting, and I was telling him out during the offseason, I usually relax a little bit with the playbook, but with the rosters expanding, I found myself jumping on it early because I'm trying to keep everyone on the team happy, in particular on the offensive side of the ball. I'm trying to keep my fullback happy, my second tight end happy, so I'm trying to spread the ball around. And it's tough, getting all those guys involved consistently, especially that second tight end. It's tough. And I remember telling DJ, man, I'm trying to relax, but it's hard. And DJ said something that I actually put on Twitter a little while later. He says, Eddie, I understand, bro. It is hard to relax when you have 23 players on the team who are here and they're relying on you to entertain them and win games. And oh, by the way, they're paying for it. So when you got guys like Hunter on a team, this is the first time I'm even telling him, man, it is stressful trying to compete and win games out here when he came over here because he wants to win. Man, it's tough to, live on that, to living down that shield trying to get these guys where I think I can take them. It's a learning process. I've been doing defense for a long time. Still new on offense. I'm learning stuff all the freaking time. But guess what? So is the rest of the league. Gone are the days of the Cleveland Vipers and all those other teams sucked. Everyone's competitive nowadays, man. St. Louis made it to the playoffs, I think 2 seasons in a row. Is it 3? I forget. All these teams out here, it's there's no day off. You gotta go out here and keep grinding and keep simming and keep scouting and trying to find something, a way you can compete and try and find a weakness you can expose because, man, it's tough. And thank God, bro, for Jay Hayden. That brother was a godsend, dude. That brother, that's my dude right there. That man is hungry. I'm going to tell y'all a quick story. I know Cam getting on me, but I was never going to share coaching with anybody. I almost shared it with another individual, but, we ended up passing on in that and, he went elsewhere. But I told myself I was going to someone to help me because I didn't know they're going to have the same passion and grit and grind I did. But, man, Jay is hungry. That dude stays up half the night coaching. And I'm like, Jay, I'm getting sleepy, dog. He like, man, I got it, Gage. Don't even worry about it, man. That's why I'm here to hold you down. So, Jay, thank you, brother, for being here. We're going to get it done, bro. Arizona, I love every last one of y'all, I swear to God. We're going to get this thing done. I'm not promising it's going to get done, but it's going to get done, and we're going to be world champions. I'm going to look back at everybody who said I couldn't, everybody who said we would, everybody who said, yo, you lost the hands, brothers, your season is done. Y'all got 2 guys over there who not as good. I don't care about none of that. I'm out here to compete, win games. Hunter, I love you, bro. Thank you for putting your trust in me and getting over here, man, to play with me, dog, because I lost Max Knight. That was my guy, but thank you for coming over. Dog, Sean Allen, Sean 316. Thou shalt not throw the ball. Shot. Go out there on the website, get your t-shirt today, Arizona. Yo, we in this thing to win it. Playbook's due in a couple of days, and we're going to go out here and represent SFL to the fullest. I want to thank the league. I want to thank Cam, who never gave up and kept this league going. Back in the day, only 7 people were watching on Facebook or YouTube or whatever it was, man, when nobody knew about us. And now look at us now. We on TV. Cam got sponsorships. We growing as a league. Cam, thank you, brother, for sticking this thing out. I want to thank your wife for allowing you to continue to do what you do. I want to thank all the league representation. I want to thank everybody for making this thing happen. It's time to get out here, put some pads on and compete. And I look forward to day one. Tyler, thank you for your show. Put this together, bro. We're going to make this happen. And I want to thank you for putting it all together, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, Eddie Gage. Eddie, thank you for being on, my friend. It's been a ride. I want the actual time on that Eddie Gage speech. I think that needs to be clipped and maybe uploaded to the SFL website, just because it's a very impassioned and very impactful speech. Eddie, thanks again. Everyone here is welcome on NETMA anytime, especially you, Eddie. Finally, Damon Simeon, let's wrap up your breakdown for season 18. And thank you so much, Damon, for being on tonight. It's been crazy. It's been a little over 2 hours, but you stuck it out. You're still here. Thanks for being here. Go ahead and take it away.
I forgot what the question was.
So your wrap up for season 18, what you're looking forward to, hot take, and then anything else you'd like to say before we sign off tonight.
Oh, man. Hot take of the season is I'm looking forward to seeing new teams making the playoffs due to so much that we saw happening in the free agency period. New guys going new places, or should we say, new faces in new places or so. It's going to be an extremely a great season, if you ask me. I'm looking forward to it, man. And that's basically it on that there. But I think the pinnacle of this season is going to be that Baltimore and Arizona matchup, man, in the mid of the season. I think that's going to be fireworks. Cam, that should be a Monday night game. I don't know. Whatever you got to do, put that Monday night, prime time, make it happen, Cameron Irvine. You have the power to do so, sir. And everybody wants to see that game. Some people work on the weekends. A lot of people are basically off during the evening time or so. So you can make that happen on Monday night for us all. Other than that, man, I'm just happy once again to continue my ownership here in the SFL and to see what my team can do this season. We missed the playoffs the last 2 seasons, and it sucked. We had the opportunity to make it, but late in the season and season 16, we folded. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. We absolutely dropped the ball. Last season, we had some close games that we lost. That this season we look to turn around. Although we do have a tough schedule on our hands, but we will go out and compete with the best of them. And that's basically it. Also, I'm sorry. One last thing. Thank you to everyone who does content here for the SFL. Man, I can remember back when I came in season 4, I think it was, or season 3 when I found the league. Nobody was making content. It was just all about just watching the games over the weekend. As Eddie said, there'd be only 4 people watching the game on Twitch. You know, gradually moved to 7 and so forth. But man, just as you say, to look at us now, we're on the up and up, moving forward. Great things are happening in this league. Be on the lookout for something that I have in the works. It's some type of podcast or so that I've been wanting to do for a while. Basically, want to name it the Laughing Hyenas, just to have some type of theme from the team involved with it. Basically, like a recap of what happened for the Houston Hyenas during the game that was previously played, and also have a basically a show later on in the week, just speaking on the game, the matchup that we have, and probably having a guest or two from that next opponent come on to the show with myself and probably 3 others from the team on the Laughing Hyenas. So that's something that I've been in the works on. This is the first time a lot of people is hearing about it here on your show, Tyler. What, as you say, our show, but you're the host, so I have to give kudos to you as well. But thank everyone, man, for being around here in the SFL. It is absolutely a great honor to have you all here and to see this league evolved into what it is today.
Thank you, Damon. A special thanks again to Ashley, Damon, Eddie, Hunter, Daniel, Gunny, Chad, the Sim Pod, Doug and Potty, Hacker, Nelson for all being live. Thank you to all the other content creators who helped put this show together. This was about the SFL, about each and every one of us. And I think it's about time we start to close up shop here on this Saturday evening. We've talked your head off long enough, folks. But before you go, I think I got to wrap up as well. So some things coming on NETMA. Again, NETMA will be the first show in SFL history starting Monday to go 5 days a week, minus a few holidays and a couple other things going on. If that were the case, the plan is no matter what to have 5 shows. So if that means there has to be a pre-recording of a show, there will be. The SFL will have content, regular content, every single day of the week. And that's one thing I'm hoping everybody's excited for. It's a lot of work, but none of us would make the content we make if we didn't love the SFL. So Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern, right back here on NETMA, on the NETMA YouTube, will be an official NETMA show, the first of the full-time schedule for the regular program. We've got a couple of fun things in store, a couple of surprises, and the show, I'll tell you this right now, is definitely not going to be as long as this 2-hour show, let me tell you. It's going to be 15 to 30 minutes max a night, because we all know we got places to be during the week. We all know we got date night, we got school, we got work the next day. 30 minutes max of your time. maybe even just 15. Okay. We've got a schedule. I'll be posting that in the NETMA server, link to which is at the bottom of this video. If you guys want to jump into the server, get more in-depth details about NETMA, please go ahead and join. The link to a whole bunch of these people's podcasts and shows are also in the official SFL website, simulationfl.net. Go check out everybody's podcast and YouTube channels there in the description as well of this video. But I think that's just about going to do it for tonight. So everybody, thank you for sticking with it. Thanks for being here. Until Monday, we're a week out from the regular season, folks, in season 18. We can't wait. We can't wait for the show to start, and we will see you next week. Until then, everybody, good morning, good afternoon, and good night.